When it feels like the only thing manufacturers make nowadays are bland blobs of crossover SUVs, it's easy to forget what makes cars fun, unique, and interesting. And when a manufacturer actually decides to make a sports car for once, it seems like the only thing they care about is chasing numbers like horsepower, 0 to 60s, and lap times. But what manufacturers have forgotten is that the joy of driving isn't just about numbers on a dyno sheet. And the answer certainly doesn't lie in heavy, silent, and ridiculously fast electric cars either. No, I would argue that the answer looks a lot like this 1980s box. This is a 1986 Toyota Corolla GTS, or better known around the world by its chassis code, AE86. People call this thing the AE86 because there's just too many damn names for the thing. Here in North America, it's called the Corolla GTS and SR5. But in Japan, it's known as the Sprinter Trueno and Corolla Levin. But in Europe, it's called the Corolla GT Coupe. But if you're Irish, you will specifically and only refer to this thing as the Twin Cam, because nothing about this car makes any sense. But no matter the name or the body style, because there's 4 versions of that as well, the 86 is a rear-wheel drive, 50-50 weight distribution, lightweight motorsports legend. That also happens to not be very fast. Yeah, despite competing in literally every motorsport there is, from touring car to even rally racing, and despite giving birth to a brand new motorsport known as drifting, the 86 is far from perfect. It has flaws, quirks, and needs to be tuned, tweaked, and changed to become the legend it's meant to live up to. But that doesn't matter, because if you've ever driven an 86 or any lightweight, low-power sports car from this era, then you would know that numbers on a spec sheet don't tell the whole story. It's about having a connection with the car, something I like to call mechanical sympathy. But what does that mean, I hear you asking? Well, let's take a look at this 80s legend to find out. Starting with the looks, and to the untrained eye, it kind of just looks like any other 80s era sports hatchback, and believe me, there were a lot of them. I've seen this car mistaken for a Fox body Mustang or even a DeLorean. I personally prefer the boxy and simple look of the 86 though to any of those cars. It's understated, not too flashy, and sleek. The pop-up headlights are also a nice addition. It's a piece of personality that you just don't get on cars nowadays. And depending if they're up or down, it completely changes the look of the car, from aggressive and aerodynamic to friendly and inviting. Then there's the interior, which just screams 80s Toyota. While the materials are economical, it is certainly nice in here, and comfortable too. The giant rear hatch makes this thing genuinely practical too. And you can even fold down the rear seats if you want that extra room. All the room in the world for your groceries, or an extra set of tires for the track. But the first thing a modern driver might notice when they get in this thing for the first time is no cup holders. Or actually, anywhere to put, well, anything in here. There's no Bluetooth or Apple CarPlay, and unfortunately there's just this hole where a giant, useless, distracting screen usually would go. And in fact, this car in particular even has the radio pulled out of it. But there's a lot more than just the radio missing. This car doesn't have ABS, traction control, cruise control, stability control, or airbags. Also, a good amount of the actual body of this car is missing as well. But don't worry about all that, because what this thing does have is the legendary 4AGE engine. So legendary that it makes a whopping 120 horsepower. But the tech in this thing was truly great for 1986. With dual overhead cams and fuel injection, it allowed it to rev all the way to 7,500 RPM, which you actually couldn't really find in many cars in the 80s. And the sounds that come out of this little 4-cylinder are one of the best out there, which is good because without a radio, it's the only thing you can listen to. Couple that with lightweight, 50-50 weight distribution and rear-wheel drive, and you have a recipe for a whole lot of fun. So what makes this car so special anyways? Pretty much every car you can buy nowadays can outperform it in basically every metric, so it's not the performance that makes it stand out. No, what makes it special is the connection you feel while driving it, and that connection is built through its quirks and flaws. New cars continue to chase perfection in all metrics. They keep getting faster, safer, more practical, more reliable. But as cars become more like clinical appliances, we lose that genuine connection with them. Look, this car is far from perfect, and it's pretty rough around the edges. But with an old car like the 86, there's something endearing about the flaws. They make the car more unique, more interesting, and more human. And that's the mechanical sympathy that I'm talking about. It's a strange feeling and one that's hard to put into words, but let me give you an example. When you're driving an old car like this, pushing it to the limits, revving it all the way out to 7,500 RPM, in the back of your mind you have a thought. I hope this holds out. It's just a machine, and yet that thought attributes something more to the car. The thought that because of its flaws, you have to treat it right, take care of it to keep it going. So when you push it like this, you hold your breath for a moment, knowing that it's hard on the old machinery. But it keeps going despite this, like a person faced with adversity. It's the flaws that make it inherently human. It gives each and every one of these old cars a personality of their own. If inanimate objects can express emotion, then this is as close as it gets. I know that more and more cars will continue going electric, becoming faster, putting down faster lap times, but to me, they're no better than kitchen appliances, just meant to get the job done, and thrown out when they break, meant to get you from A to B as quick and efficiently as possible. But I'll stick to the classics, no matter how slow they might be, no matter how long that journey might take, because I have a mechanical sympathy for an old car that makes me feel something. Thank you for watching.